The user interface is a standard Windows program consisting of a standard menu displayed across the top. The program is very intuitive and easy to use. The menu items are self-explanatory. However, for purposes of this video, we're going to concentrate on two main menu items, Study and Exam. Under the Study, there are two complete sets of notes, written and oral. The notes consist of a complete study guide, over 365 pages, organized into the same 10 categories as the American Board of Podiatric Surgery categories. The original notes were created by Podiatry Institute. However, in response to feedback from the doctors, we update and embellish the notes each year. You may choose to read the notes like any other study guide. Clicking on a book will open that category and reveal all topics listed under the category. You may then choose whichever topic you wish. You may also use the index to quickly find any topic of interest. You can simply scroll to look through the available topics, or you can type in anything that may interest you, such as osteomyelitis. There is also a powerful search feature which allows you to search for any word or phrase throughout the entire set of notes. Simply type in what you're interested in and list the topics. Anything with tendon mentioned in it will show up. Last but not least, there is a complete glossary of important terms. Simply click on the glossary term and the information is displayed below. The other nice thing, these glossary terms are found throughout the notes, and when you see a yellow highlighted glossary term, if you click on it, it brings up the actual information. The oral notes function in the same manner as the written notes. There is a very good section on the new computer-based patient simulation software, which we highly recommend you utilize the practice sessions and all the information from boards. Now let's take a look at the exam selection on the menu. This is made up of written exams and oral exams. Let's start with the written exam. There is an exam center, results, which is currently grayed out because we have no results, and a progress. That will be empty as well. So let's start with the exam center. The written exam center allows you to design your test. It allows you to pick the type of test as well as the test mode. Let's look at the type of test first. Clicking the drop-down arrow will bring up the available options. There are 5 full tests of 125 questions each, or you may build a category test, which allows you to zero in on a specific category. All questions from all 5 full tests in that specific category will be selected, and a test on that category will be generated. A category test can only be taken in study mode, which brings us to the test mode option. There are 2 test modes, study and test. Test mode mimics the real thing. You are given 125 questions and the test is timed. The only available button is the next button, just like the real test. Study mode is not timed and is more like an open book test. We will go into all the options in more detail when we review a study mode test. Study mode tests are not tracked in your progress report. Study mode is like taking an open book test. Time is unlimited. You may navigate forward or backward using the next and previous buttons. You may also bookmark questions in order to come back to that question for further review, or use the Go To button to display any of the 125 questions. You are given a question and distractors from which you may select your answer. Then you click the Answer button to display the correct answer. If you are correct and you feel competent with the question, you may select Next to go to the next question. However, if you selected an incorrect answer or you want to review the material on that question, you may click the Note button, which will bring up the written notes at that specific topic. This is the most valuable and unique feature of Boards by the Numbers. It allows for quick access and instant reinforcement of specific topics which you may need to review. One other feature I want to demonstrate is the picture and case buttons. When a question has an image or picture attached to it, a picture button will be visible. This functionality is also found on the real ABPS exam you will be taking, so always look for an image or picture button. Most of the time, you will be informed from within the question, but not always, so be on the lookout for them. Click the picture button or image button to view the image. Some questions also have a case button, so be on the lookout for those as well. Such as this case button. Make sure to click the case because there's always valuable information within that case. In study mode only, there is also an explanation button visible if there is an underlying explanation to that question. These are only found when a more in-depth explanation is deemed necessary. Clicking the button will bring up that information, and it's very important to make sure you view it. A new feature added to Boards by the Numbers is the ability to save a study test. Let's face it, this is a lot of material, and studying can wear you out. You now have the ability to save a study test. Just quit the test, and it will ask you if you want to quit. You say yes, and now it will say, do you want to save the current test for later? Say yes, and go to sleep. And when you wake up the next day and you come back to the exam center, the continued test is now flashing and available. You can select the continued test and it will bring you right back to where you left off so you can begin your studies again. If you come back the next day and you decide not to continue the test, you can select a new test, but you will be given the warning that it will overwrite or your current saved test will be lost. Once you do that, you'll start a new test, but you will not be able to go back to the saved test. So now let's take a test mode full test. You make your selection. We'll take test number 1 and we'll take this in test mode. As soon as you make your selections, either test 1, test 2, 3, 4, whatever you like, in test mode, you hit the test button, which will bring up the test screen. You're given the question and you're given distractors. It tells you which test you're taking in the center here, and it tells you the current question you're on out of the total. So we're just going to hit, you make your selection and you hit next, and you make your selection and you hit next. I'm going to quickly get to a question that has a picture because I want to show you that how that works, and it's just like the real thing in the real test. Well, this example, it gives a picture and you're given the image. You can look at it just like the real test, and if there's a case, it brings up the case. Any question that has a case or a picture, these buttons will be available to you. Now we're just going to go through this whole test to get to the end of the test. Now when you reach the last question, remember this test is timed, and if you don't get to the end of the 125 questions by the time the allotted time is up, it stops the test and you will not be able to take it any further. So make sure you time yourself properly. When you hit the last question and you've taken it, it will come up with an end of questions. When you click OK, that's going to bring you to the test results screen. And here you have the 10 categories and the number of questions in each of those categories and your percentile, how you did, how well you did. When you're finished with this, if you click the review button, it's going to bring up the review screen of all the questions you missed. Not all questions, but just the ones you missed. And here it's going to have your answer highlighted, and then it's going to have the correct answer up here at the top. So it was D and I had selected B. When you click the note buttons, this is going to take you right to that specific information within the notes, and I think that's the most important thing of boards by the numbers. Even when you review your test questions in test mode, you will be able to review all the questions you missed and be able to get right to the notes for quick study and reinforcement. And when you're finished going through all the questions in the review, you click quit and you're taken back to the regular screen. And that's pretty much it on the test mode test.